Hello from Jonathan and me. Welcome to the programme.
First tonight, how the row over stolen emails from climate scientists in Norfolk is threatening to derail next week's summit on global warming.
World leaders will be in Copenhagen to agree on a new deal on the environment. But tonight, the science of global warming itself is facing a new threat.
The University of East Anglia is one of 4 centres around the world which has produced the key data on climate change. But after thousands of emails between the scientists were hacked into, sceptics are claiming the research may be flawed.
Our reporter Emma Baker is at the UEA for us tonight. Emma.
Yes, Becky, tonight the university here in Norwich finds itself at the heart of a growing global row as more and more people voice their concerns over the leaks of this email. Of course, this is perfect timing for the sceptics of the climate change, just days ahead of a climate change summit in Copenhagen. Now, it's important to say the UEA research into climate change really is very important. It's used by governments around the world, and of course this really does hit at the heart of that research. Now, today the UEA is standing by its work. It's now launched an independent inquiry, but of course it's left the politicians rallying around trying to get support from all the countries ahead of that summit on Monday. It's a climate change controversy that's grabbing the headlines around the world, and the epicentre is right here in our region. It's all after emails written by scientists working here at the University of East Anglia were leaked on the internet. Climate change sceptics say they show the scientists manipulated their data in order to strengthen their argument for global warming. A police investigation is now underway. The UN is now also investigating the situation. The UEA, which has begun its own independent inquiry, is confident it can keep its academic reputation intact.
It's clearly something we're taking seriously, and that's why we've set up this independent review, which will reassure everyone it's completely independent of the university and it will reach its conclusions probably during 2010. So I'm not anxious about the future here, and I'm fully confident in the academic integrity of UEA.
The University of East Anglia is widely recognised as one of the world's leading climate change research centres, and any suggestion that scientists manipulated data could have a global impact. There's little doubt it's been timed to coincide with the climate change conference starting in Copenhagen next week. Already, an official from Saudi Arabia has said the emails suggest climate change doesn't have a human cause. It's certainly possible that some countries will be less willing to cut their carbon emissions following these allegations. But as the politics rumbles on, where does this leave the environmental debate?
This so-called Climate Gate scandal has dented the edifice of science that says global warming is happening. I think it is quite clear that there is warming. I think it is quite clear that we will never know with full certainty that it is man-made until after it's happened. But that is too late. That is the great quandary of this great global warming debate.
One former chancellor and now commentator on global warming is watching with concern as the scandal unfolds.
There is so much vested interest in this that there is a fear, there must be a fear that this will be a whitewash, not a genuine probing inquiry. I hope that is not the case. It will be judged by the evidence, what we see.
It's likely investigations into the matter could take months. In the meantime, the University of East Anglia will be hoping they can limit the inevitable damage to its academic reputation. Emma Baker, Anglia News, Norwich.
Next tonight, the frontline ambulance crews who say their lives are being put at risk after their bosses stopped kitting them out with stab vests.
Union leaders have criticised the East of England Ambulance Service over its decision to stop issuing the protective vest to paramedics in Essex.
But the Trust says there's very low risk to crews and it's confident its staff are safe. Tom Barton reports.
4 years ago, ambulance crews in Essex were issued with stab vests. Soon, once again, they'll have no physical protection when faced with dangerous situations. The East of England Ambulance Service wants all of its crews to have the same equipment, so in line with other parts of our region, crews in Essex will no longer be issued with body armour. The Association of Professional Ambulance Personnel has been campaigning nationally for crews to have stab vests. They say this decision means lives will be put at risk.
These people have got this piece of potentially life-saving protection, and they're still going to these jobs. The number of assaults on ambulance personnel is increasing year on year. The number of jobs that we go to is increasing year on year.
This company, based near Tiptree in Essex, makes and sells protective vests, just like this one, to both military and civilian organisations all over the world. Their sales director, Sean Ward, showed me the sorts of protection the vests provide.
It would be very, very difficult for any human being to actually get a knife through this.
Talk me through the sorts of products that you would be supplying to civilian organisations, so people like paramedics and people like that.
Well, they tend to go for Home Office approved stab-proof vests, as we would traditionally know them. And we have local councils, housing offices, security guards buying those products.
A lot of people looking at this would look at some of the other people who end up being given stab vests and think actually paramedics find themselves in a much more dangerous situation than some of those people.
Well, the evidence doesn't show that, and the evidence, the reported incidents that our staff are on the receiving end of, they are very low.
It does only take one incident for all of this to go wrong, doesn't it?
Of course it does, yeah, absolutely, and we're absolutely aware of that, which is why we have spent so much time and resources on training and on making sure that we've got safe systems.
The ambulance service says it would prefer its staff to stay out of violent situations altogether, and says that removing the protection of stab vests will also remove a false sense of security. Tom Barton, Anglia News, Essex.
Thousands have lined the streets of Dereham in Norfolk to welcome the Light Dragoons home from Afghanistan.
After their 6-month tour of duty in Helmand Province, today the soldiers toured around their regiment's hometown, cheered by crowds of supporters. Our reporter Matthew Hudson was there too.
Too young to really know what war is, but these youngsters waited patiently in the cold to see their heroes. Just a tiny part of the 5,000-strong crowd which practically swamped the streets of Dereham to welcome home the Light Dragoons. The banners said it all. The town is immensely proud of its local soldiers.
We're so proud of our boys, what they're doing for this country.
I've come to see my friends. I've been mates with him since I was very small, so I just come to see him get his medal.
The parade gave the crowds what they wanted, whilst for the troops there were tour of duty medals, a poignant reminder of the heavy price some soldiers have to pay for their service. The Dragoons were involved in heavy fighting during their time in Helmand Province. 6 of them lost their lives there, but will have been in the minds of many here today. For most families, though, relief at having their loved ones home.
It's great, and can't wait to send this to them. I miss them so much.
Proudly getting to grips with an armoured vehicle, they won't forget this day in a hurry. The soldiers won hearts and minds here a long time ago. Dereham loves the Dragoons, who love the town in return.
It means a lot to the soldiers, but if I'm honest, where it's probably felt most is the families while we're away, and the vulnerability is very, very tangible for the families at home. To know that the community is behind you, I think, is enormously valuable for them.
I'm from Norwich, Old Catton at Norwich. They should all be here. I expect my mum, dad, sisters to be here. So obviously a great day for them to come out. They're really excited to come see us, cheer on the lads.
So, backing our boys and girls overseas, but are local people behind Britain's military presence in Afghanistan?
Absolutely, 100%. Let's get rid of them. Let's get more troops out there and finish the job.
There's lots of things that we don't know that happen out there, and we have to just support what we can, I think.
I definitely support what they're doing, but I don't like it.
The march ended at the parish church and a service of celebration, followed by a civic reception. But for most of the troops, it's the promise of a Christmas with their families that's the best coming home present. Matthew Hudson, Anglia News in Dereham.
I was in Dereham this morning, actually. It was packed, an incredible atmosphere.
Proud day there.
Now, if you've started your Christmas shopping, you'll know how hellish it is to find a parking space at this time of year.
No such worries for Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall. Her driver parked illegally on yellow lines for 2 hours while she nipped in and out of shops in Holt in Norfolk. And that, as Natalie Gray now reports, has caused a right royal row.
Parking in the North Norfolk town of Holt is tricky at the best of times, but at Christmas it really is a challenge.